Oh, I hope that's better. Hey, Marcus, how do I sound, man? Do I sound okay? Any feedback? Okay, hope
You
that's
cut out
better.
every now and then when you talk, so I try not to talk over you.
Okay, am I still? That
This
sucks.
is going to be the best interview you ever had. You're going to win awards.
We go speak to is absolutely. Um. So, well, I appreciate the feedback on Black Line. So the next question is, what do you think needs to be done to bridge this racial? Where
What
do
do
we
I
go?
think needs to be done about what?
Bridging the gap. Like, where do you think we need to go to get better?
One thing is believing people, and there's this thing I studied in college. A lot of people have been talking about cognitive dissonance. When somebody presents me with information that doesn't match my worldview, I've got it in my brain how the world works. And, I say, like, everybody in this country is treated equally, and someone says, hey, that's not been the case in my life. I can ignore them. I can say they're making it up, or I can go, man, I think I'm going to have to unpack some of this and take what I just heard into account. And if I'm hearing it from enough people, then I need to accept that not everybody has the same experience. So part of it is believing people, and then from that, a big piece of it is sometimes, as much as I want to go, I'm open to other people, and I'm loving, and I'm accepting, and I'm tolerant. There are times I've still got those things in my own mind, my own heart, and sometimes I don't know why they're there. I don't know if you saw recently, I think it was on AL.com, they had a black woman who's a history teacher, and she read an Alabama state textbook from when she was a child, right? And it says right there, some of the slaves loved their cabins, and they loved their masters, and they loved their work, but some slaves were lazy. And I'm going, I can go, I can't believe this is here. But I have to remember, like my mother's generation, my father's generation, they were in middle school during integration. That may have been their textbook, and they were told this by a teacher that they believed. And so we may not even know some of the reasons why we come into a conversation or a relationship with preconceived notions about each other. It's so packed in, it's so deep, it's so under the surface. It's like gosh, what is the iceberg? You see this much of it, and there's this much under the surface. And so it's not something we want to do. We're moving really fast. We're moving fast on social media and our work and our family. But we do need to take time to pause and go, why do I feel this way? Maybe someone goes, well, I voted for Obama, but that same person clutches their purse when they walk by a black guy at the mall. And they need to stop and go, why did I just do that? And so we don't want to do that. I think all of us, it's kind of like when I drive on 280, everybody faster than me is crazy. Everybody slower than me is needs to get off the road. And it's the same way on race. I think most of us go, well, I'm in a good place. Those people are way far out there. Those people are racist, but those people are too radical. And I'm comfortable where I am. So a big piece of it is we need to be taking into account different things from outside, and then also in our own hearts and go, why do I feel this way? Is there something that maybe I do have a blind spot on?
Dude, that is absolutely true. I'm gonna go outside. I'm trying to get this off better. That's what happens when you stay in. Is that any better?
No.
Really? Okay. Damn. Stand by, bro. We're gonna make this work. So what's the
Our
name of
coffee
your
shop
coffee
is
shop?
called Wild Roast Cafe, like ROAST. And we're in the Bluff Park neighborhood. We got the most beautiful sunsets. It's a really, really great place.
Yeah, I'm
Give me a
definitely
heads
gonna
up, so
be
I'll be
coming
here.
out there, bro. Yeah, and you know, if this woo stop. And sorry, Melissa. If this audio doesn't get better, I'm going on
Okay.
again. But anyway, I already see you have. All right, and okay, much better. Okay, cool. All right, so I totally agree with you, bro, that. Okay, see, like what I don't want white people to do during this time, be afraid to ask questions, and that's why I blended lines, because I had multiple people come to me that I know their heart, and they said tag coffee shop.
I
Bro, I'm
appreciate
trying
that. I'll try to
to
put
do
it
this,
in, see if
man.
I can.
Yeah, and after I interview, make sure you go out and post your
Okay.
business. Okay. I mean, I don't listening in the group. Like, I'm all about supporting my
Thank
family.
you.
Blended line. We here for so yeah, someone came up to me and said, look, I feel terrible about and I'm pissed. I want to know, but I am so afraid I'm gonna say stupid. I'm gonna have a, you know, say something to piss off. They're gonna cut me out or beat me up, and I get it. You know, I put myself in their shoes, and I'm like, I understand. So what I first need is just an open
Yeah.
mind who are willing to have the conversation, who can get emotions. And emotion is natural. But during a time like this, man, we have to control those emotions and listen and provide feed. But if it's not a person, I have time, you know, because it's a waste of
Yeah.
their time. And I agree with you, man. Just stop and look at like why am I thinking like that. But too, man, like trust me, I've heard black people say
Yeah.
bad things about,
Yeah.
you
We've
know.
all got.
And you know, some people are racist or not, you know, even if they can't be, there's still effectiveness. They came from trauma or what they, it's all bad, regardless, right? If we're not looking and showing kindness, then
Yeah.
we're doing something not healthy. And so, what I've seen in this group, I know me, I've learned a ton from white people as well as black people. I even told my wife, man, before I created this group, I thought white people down. I thought I had them figured out. And it's like I had no idea, bro.
Yeah.
No idea. And so I know everybody else is struggling with the same
Yeah.
thing. And it's like, you know, I think I know how that really is. And it's just so many unknowns out there. We get to figure out like, oh,
Yeah.
you that too? What? You know? She going to be right back. Sorry, man.
Hey, that's why
I
I'm
have two
here and out
kids.
of my house.
So. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, when it comes with I'm a mental health advocate. I have no shame in sharing. Last year, I complete burnout, breakdown, depressive, anxiety. I had to take off work, just a dark place, and I'm out of it, man. So of course, I'm going to share my story for other people out there. Bless one people, man, because you know when you dark area, you just like there's no hope. And I want people to hope that you can. You just have to. You literally get fed up, and it's like, look, I'm not gonna deal with this crap. So fight without fighting, and you kick depression's butt. You know what I'm saying? Matter, you like, look, stop. You got to be, you got to be confident. You know, a lot of people see me and I may be arrogant. I mean, well, if that's what you call it, you know, I just have to be strong, and that's how I want everybody. But also be compassionate and have empathy. Don't be so strong. Not trying to listen to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to piggyback on something earlier. I met my wife in Minneapolis. I went to school at University of Minnesota.
Okay.
We met there. We love to stay in touch with our friends, go back when we can. And watching what happened with George Floyd, and not even with George Floyd, you go back a few years, there was a guy that worked at a school lunchroom, and he was shot in a traffic stop and killed really close to where I met my wife and proposed to my wife in the St. Anthony, Maine area. African-American man was shot and killed there. It was really hard to watch. One thing that I would share too is that, you know, white people are not this big homogenous group. I joke around because I'm, you know, my background, I'm Alabama, you know, my family, I had family ancestors that chopped cotton and cut timber alongside black workers. Now, again, there was huge differences socially and economically, but I got also white family members that owned the cotton gins where people took their cotton. But you go up north and you got people from Scandinavia and Poland and Lithuania that, you know, you can go to a town, they still speak German up there. And I went up as a Southerner and I felt more like an outsider. I had so much more in common with my black and international classmates. I would joke around with the German and Polish and Norwegian Americans that were up there like, I don't understand you guys' culture. You guys, and I would joke, I would give them a hard time. They would say something like, you need to learn to speak English. You know, they would do something, they would say, you know, maybe somebody in Wisconsin calls a water fountain a bubbler. And I'm like, you need to learn to speak English. And so I would kind of tease them a little bit of like, we all have our things maybe that we feel like outsiders. We're, except for Native Americans, we're all got here somewhat one way or another. So I joke around a little bit about that, even my own family, with my wife being Scandinavian. And I say, you know, you do things this way, I do things that way. But what I do want to share that is not fair to specifically our black friends and neighbors and family members and church members and coworkers is it's not fair that, you know, my wife has been open about mental health issues, and I'm so proud of her courage. But it's not fair that the rest of us don't do what we reasonably can so that you don't have to put that extra weight on your shoulders. And so that's something that I'm really concerned about because for those of us who have ever struggled with depression or anxiety or addiction, whatever those issues are, when you then pack on the extra weight of how do people see me at church, see me in the workplace, see me in traffic, see me at the mall. When you have to add on that extra, I wouldn't want to have that burden on me. So why, when lots of preachers, lots of politicians, lots of public people like to get up and say, hey, racism is wrong. You know, racism is evil. And that's true. That's great. But we also, all of us have to do the heavy lifting and go, well, you know what? Who do I eat lunch with on my lunch break? You know, I see that couple in my sanctuary, but have I ever invited them to my small group or ever had folks over for a cup of coffee? You know, people like to talk about church being really segregated, and some of it's just we just worship different. We're human. We get together with people mostly that we have things in common with, but I don't think it's fair. And you know, we do need to think about fairness. Fairness, people don't like that word. God cares about fairness. God cares about justice. And God says if you put an extra burden on your neighbor, that's not what God wants. So if I got a white comfort zone, right, I need to be thinking about that. And I've had that conversation with my own children. When I was, man, I hope my mom's not watching, but when I was about 15, 16, me and some friends were running through the neighborhood at night, getting in trouble, and we're about to jump a fence, and a cop rolls up, puts a gun on us because he thought we were breaking into cars. And we weren't breaking into cars, but a police officer, white officer, put his gun out on me and three of my friends. And I'm, you know, that was like an aberration for me. But I do talk with my own sons. you know, who have black friends, who have Indian friends, who have Asian friends, who have Hispanic friends. You guys need to understand. And I showed them parts of the George Floyd video. I showed them parts of the video of the man in Central Park having the cops called on him, you know, over a lie. And I didn't show them the whole videos. I cut it because my kids are in elementary and middle school. But I said, you have black friends.
Yeah.
As you guys get older, your friends may be treated differently than you. And you got to have their back. And not just when y'all are around each other, but you, if you're with white friends, you can't let somebody say a racist joke. You can't let that pass. You can't let somebody do that. That's not fair to other people. And kids are really interested in fairness. But I do think about when it comes to mental health issue, Americans just struggle with mental health. We are a really unhealthy society. But when you add on the pressure of racism and how it works to hurt people day to day, I want to see more, you know, whether it's somebody who's got 14,000 people listening to their sermons or, you know, 14,000 people voting for them, whatever it is. I want to hear more people going, not just racism is bad, racism is evil, but here's how it happens. Here's how we say it. You know, I'm sorry we participated in it. I'm sorry that I didn't speak up. You know, I'm going to do better. Here's the steps we're taking. My wife and I, we had to examine our own business. You know, we have interviewed black applicants, but we don't have any black people on our team. What's the reason for that? Is it because there's not a lot of people with experience as baristas, or are we not doing a good enough job of training people in? So, you know, we gotta deal with that in our own workplace. Doesn't mean we're perfect. I don't expect every church tomorrow to have, you know, half their congregation be black, you know. But I do think we need to go, all right, well, if this is wrong, you know, what responsibility do I have as a small business owner? What responsibility do I have as a teacher, as a coach, as a preacher, as a mayor, as a police officer, as a firefighter? You know, we all got to look at those things and go, you know what, I don't invite that guy to eat lunch with me. That might be putting him out of a position to get a promotion because the boss eats lunch with me.
Absolutely. Ooh, that is a, man, you got a lot of that part. You just like I talked to Mason and I was, oh my God. I knew there was, I have the Lord leads me in life, man. And so, even though I've never life, I text him. I was like, bro, I need to reach out to you. Like, I'm feeling my fears. We need to talk. And sure enough, we talked, man, and you know, best bros after the first conversation. And so two things I got what you said and really struck me was there's a lot of you already said. I refer to it. You know how onion has the layer, and you got to peel the layer back.
Yeah.
And it's gonna make you cry. You know what I'm saying? But you know, say it with the companies. All right, our companies take their time to do it right over just going and hiring a bunch of black people just so they can fill a quota. Like, I would rather it take a year or two to make sure you're thorough on your end, doing it right. I don't want you to just throw some black folks, you know. So I definitely see that. And just really on the mental health part, number one, mental health in the black community is a huge stigma. All right. Personally, white have had therapists for years. Black community is taught as weakness. Like, you can't tell that you're having because they'll look at you like, and then you'll be labeled. And that's one of my, number one, mental health is just a stigma. But in the black community, you already have racism dealing with, traumatic. But now it's bad even going to see help. I mean, that's a step up for destruction right there. You know, you're trying to harbor all those emotions, the anger, confusion, and then happens and you just,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And so that's why, oh man, my Wi-Fi is sucking today. I know. I'm sorry, Kim. I don't know what's going on. I got 250 speed. Um, so yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to do better as far as understanding both sides come together.
Yep, definitely.
Well, I know coming up, what are we at? 12:34. Wi-Fi is acting so sketchy. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up a little early, but I'm gonna definitely be back. Before we leave, man, any negative to the group?
You asked me if there's any parting wisdom I want to share with the group.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I'm finding is, you know, when you get online, there's a lot of trash. There's a lot of garbage. There's a lot of angry people. I remember I used to read, the comments in AL.com almost to test my own spiritual fortitude. And it was so easy for people to be just terribly vile and mean and hateful because it was anonymous. You didn't have to put your real name. And one of the things that I'm finding is there are more people out there who are good people, or just people who go, I'm struggling with this, but I'm willing to learn. But it's a scary place. So one of the things that I would recommend to people is not to be afraid, to take courage. And when you run up against somebody who just says just something dangerous, something vile, something extremely racist or hateful, you may not change their mind. But one of the things that you can do is if you have to respond, if you feel you have to respond, you can respond in such a way that maybe the other people who see it go, all right, I'm not alone. Or, you know what, this person had my back. That's something I feel strongly about. Is I hate it when people say no one's mind has ever been changed online. That's not true. I know it has happened. And that's one of those things is, if you look in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul, he went to the marketplace, he went to the Agora, and he'd set up his little tent making booth, and he'd be selling tents, and he would start to talk about his faith. And that really today, the internet is that kind of marketplace of ideas. I don't think Facebook is doing a very good job of sifting through the people who are bad people who are trying to stir up hate and violence. It means we got to work even harder to go out there. It doesn't mean you have to just blast it all the time, but when you do have those opportunities for everybody in this group, people are watching you, and you may have a friend that was raised by absolute racists. I went to middle school with a guy who bragged he was going to join the Klan when he turned 18 because his granddad was a member of the Klan. But I have an opportunity on Facebook, and everybody out here has an opportunity on Facebook or in your office place or wherever, to be open, to be kind, to be loving, but still to take a stand and say, we got to care about our friends. We just, this ain't working for America. Saying there's not a problem isn't working, and just saying if everybody shut up, we won't have these problems. That's not working either. We've tried it, So I would say, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to not get along with people. It's okay to disagree. Sometimes you got to call it like it is. But to keep talking, keep listening, but also to keep sharing that there is a way forward that does say, hey, we got differences, but those differences don't have to mean that we fight it out. It doesn't have to mean that we have a civil war. It doesn't mean that we go punching people in the face. That it can be, you know what? That's fine. Joke about potato salad. That's okay. If you want to say that, I don't understand this, I don't understand that. Let's have conversations, and we can have joy. We can find the things we have in common, but we can also just say, I was wrong how I used to talk about people. I was wrong the kind of words I used. It's okay to say, I care more about Cliff's mental health and Cliff's children than I do about my great granddaddy. You know, I'm here because of my great granddaddy. He can't do anything for me in 2020. You know, and some of those systems that he set up to benefit me, I don't think I want them to benefit me if it means that the Cliff's kids don't have the same opportunities that my kids have. Because, you know, that's the only way we move forward. We really owe a whole lot than we owe to the people in the past. So keep the conversation going. Don't. I'm a talker, man. Mason will tell you this, but paraphrase. Don't take it for granted that you don't have a voice, and please don't believe the lie that what you say on social media cannot influence somebody else. It can, and it may be a year before somebody comes to you and says, man, I did a lot of thinking, and I've made some changes in my heart and in my life and how I treat people. So please everybody, don't just do it in blended lines, but find other ways to share that too.
Right. Well, man, the wisdom. Hate that way. Technical.
We'll do it another time or some other way. I'm happy to help you in any way, Cliff.
Absolutely, bro. Hey, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for your business. I'm gonna be coming.
All right, love to see you up here.
Shop soon. Okay. All right, brother. Be easy. Okay.
Bye.